Greetings, everyone. This video is to honor people who struggle with mental health, whether in their private domain or in the public sphere. It is one of the most underestimated area of illness and one that causes a lot of shame and discrimination towards the people who suffer it. And oftentimes people choose to suffer in silence because of the mockery, because of people who do not understand the disease, and it is a disease. And so I want to use this time to honor every person who understands it, whether it be through depression, or other severe forms. And I'm talking about Tyra Spalding's. Another thing that really infuriates me, I see her sharing her story, and I'm sure when she used to come out and try to, share what she's going through, when she was alive, hardly anybody would be interested in her story. But she's not here. And it's disgusting that so many people are coming out to pretend like they care, when even in their own household, there are people who are having their own battles, their own struggles. And what you will hear is, get over it. Foolishness. What is your problem? As is the case with, that gentleman they refer to as Boo. Because it's clear that this man has some mental health issues as it relates to his relationship and other things in his past. I have tried to explain to you all that it's not a matter of guilty or innocent. It's just to recognize where someone is mentally. And I have encouraged his ex-partner not to play or poke the bear, because we don't know what people are going through. Even in my work, my line of work, I have to be very vigilant that the people that I deal with, I don't think that they are going through mental health issues. I don't want to judge them with that, but I don't want to take that off the table, because we don't know what people are going through in their personal life. This is why you have to be very careful how you treat people and how you even respond to someone, because there are people who are on the edge. And, if you don't deal with them right, the consequences can be very detrimental. This young lady was sharing her story, and I'm sure there are people who cared for her and who would listen to her story and would send her support. But I'm sure there are many who, when she was speaking, took what she was saying for granted. Never take anyone's words or when they share their thoughts with you for granted, whether it be good or positive or negative in your opinion. We can do better in this as human beings, to have a little compassion, to see when we are working with rational minds and when someone else isn't, to recognize it and not to necessarily judge them, but to say, how can I help? And I think more needs to be done. I feel like in Jamaica, it is a huge problem, not just discrimination, but ignorance as it relates to mental health. And it takes different forms. Some of the things are the stories that Tyra was sharing clearly showed that she was having some battles with schizophrenia. But I also want to say is, there's always spiritual things at the end or the back end of some of these stories that we hear. Okay, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principality, rulers of dark places. I'm paraphrasing that scripture, so it's this verse, so don't come for me. All right. So how we go through these personal private battles, we feel it within our spirit, because a lot of time when stress hits you and you internalize it and you don't talk to people about it, it becomes this dis-ease in your body, in your mind. You have to do the best you can to protect yourself from, this problem with mental illness. Now, in terms of the last video posted by Boo, what I do like is that he's situating himself close to nature. There's something very serene and very peaceful with this background where he's positioning himself. And I'm telling the people, stop making fun, stop mocking, stop. He said, she said, at this point, I don't want to hear any more of their story. When they were getting together and they were, having their lovey-dovey times. Everything was good and I wasn't there. No, I don't mean I don't want to hear their story. I want him to be quiet. That's not what I mean. I mean, I don't care to hear if she did that or she didn't did that, do that. That's his time to do his therapy, his time to share his experience, his time to whatever. But I would hope that he would get a hold of himself and say, okay, I'm going to do this, but my strategy will be different. Create a program if you're listening to this video, boo, and have men call in and share their own experience. Or you don't have to do it publicly. You can start a group, a support group of men who feel they have been violated. It's not about what we say, it's about how they feel. And we have to always, give people some type of right or opportunity to express their feelings, as we have done with his ex-female partner. We don't know what mental health issues she might have struggled to. Or even when you see out here this big smile and, acting like everything is peachy, you don't know what goes on behind the scene. And at the end of the day, as we dabble and we mix and we share and we talk and we take sides, we have to pivot and come back to say, at the end of the day, these are two human beings. And whatever issues they have, we can get to the point where we say, okay, this is not funny anymore. You all need to work this out. Counseling, if that's what's necessary. Not necessarily mocking anybody, because you would dislike to hear this man come out and share his story, or this female come and share her story, and nobody listens, and then you hear something terrible. The young woman that we're talking about, Tyra, shared her story. And there are times when she said, I feel better. It's just unfortunate, in my opinion, that she never had all these videos circulating on social media. Because maybe someone could have saved her. Maybe someone could have connect with her in a way that was more meaningful. All right. So as we celebrate Mental Health Day, I'm calling it Mental Health Day today, because every day we should pay attention to our own mental health and know to look out or recognize the signs, and be there to support others when we can. Okay. It takes nothing for you to go off. And when I say off, not in a negative way, but to go off your course or off your path. Stress, all kinds of problems in life. This is just the battle of life, is something that will throw you off any day. And so let's just be patient. Let's be considerate. Let's be respectful of individuals who are going through things, and look at the methods in which they use to help them heal. It might not be your method. It might be someone else's method, okay? And the ignorance will always continue if you don't stop it. Stay blessed, everyone.